Have you ever wondered why love sometimes feels so complicated? In this video, we'll explore the insights of Jung, a famous psychologist, who dives deep into the mysteries of love and relationships. You'll learn about the obstacles that can block the natural flow of love in our lives, and how understanding these can lead to more meaningful connections. The importance of this topic can't be overstated. Love is a fundamental part of our human experience, and understanding it can significantly enhance our relationships. By the end of this video, you'll gain valuable knowledge that can help you improve your connections with others and even with yourself. So, if you've ever felt lost in love or confused about relationships, stay tuned. We'll uncover the secrets that can transform your understanding of love and help it flow freely in your life. Love is often described as one of the most profound human experiences, transcending mere words and emotions. It is an intricate tapestry woven from instinct, emotion, and personal growth, a concept beautifully articulated by Jung. As we embark on this exploration, let's consider the essence of love and its complexities. While love can elevate us to great heights, it can also entangle us in confusion and heartache. But what happens when love becomes complicated? What obstacles do we face, and how do we navigate them? To understand love more deeply, we must first acknowledge its multifaceted nature. Love is not just a fleeting feeling. It is a powerful force that shapes our identities and our relationships. Jung believed that love is fundamentally tied to our instincts, those primal urges that drive us to connect with others. This connection can foster growth, pushing us to become better versions of ourselves. However, love also invites vulnerability, and with it comes the fear of rejection, loss, and the unknown. Imagine a young woman named Sarah, who has always longed for a deep connection. She meets someone who seems perfect, charismatic, kind, and attentive. Initially, she feels elated, as if she has finally found the missing piece of her puzzle. But as their relationship develops, Sarah begins to feel anxious and insecure. Why? Because deep down, she struggles with her self-worth, a belief that she is not deserving of love. This brings us to an essential aspect of love, the obstacles we face within ourselves. As we navigate our relationships, it's crucial to recognize that the barriers often lie within us. Jung's perspective invites us to examine our inner landscapes, the fears, beliefs, and unresolved issues that can complicate our ability to love freely. But how do we confront these inner demons? Understanding our shadow self is key. The shadow represents the parts of ourselves that we often hide or deny, our insecurities, fears, and unresolved emotions. For Sarah, her shadow manifests as self-doubt, leading her to sabotage her budding relationship. Instead of embracing love, she retreats, fearing that her partner will eventually see her flaws and abandon her. As we delve deeper into the nature of love, it becomes imperative to acknowledge how our shadows can impact our connections with others. When we avoid confronting these parts of ourselves, we risk projecting our insecurities onto our partners, an unconscious act that can lead to misunderstandings and conflict. Consider a couple, John and Emma, who constantly find themselves arguing over trivial matters. What seems like a simple disagreement about household chores is, in reality, a projection of deeper insecurities. John feels inadequate in his career and projects that fear onto Emma, interpreting her criticisms as personal attacks. Emma, on the other hand, struggles with feelings of unworthiness. When John criticizes her, she reacts defensively, fearing rejection. This cycle of projection creates a barrier to genuine intimacy. But how can we break free from this pattern? The first step is awareness. By recognizing when we are projecting our insecurities onto our partners, we can begin to take responsibility for our feelings and communicate more effectively. This brings us to a crucial element in the journey of love, understanding our needs. Recognizing and articulating our emotional needs is vital for nurturing healthy relationships. It's essential to communicate openly about what we desire and require from our partners. For Sarah, this means acknowledging her need for reassurance and understanding. Instead of retreating into silence, she learns to express her feelings, fostering a deeper connection with her partner. However, what happens when our needs clash with those of our partner? Navigating these differences can be challenging, but it's an integral part of the relationship journey. Open communication allows couples to find common ground and work towards a solution. By fostering a safe space for dialogue, partners can explore their needs without judgment, ultimately strengthening their bond. As we reflect on the dance between love and self-awareness, we encounter Jung's concepts of anima and animus. These ideas represent the feminine and masculine aspects within each of us, regardless of gender. When we embrace these aspects, we cultivate a more balanced and fulfilling relationship. Sarah, for instance, begins to explore her anima by embracing her intuitive, nurturing side, which helps her connect more authentically with her partner. But what happens when we ignore these crucial aspects of ourselves? The consequences can be profound. A lack of balance may lead to resentment, frustration, and emotional distance. Acknowledging and integrating our anima and animus allows us to express ourselves more fully, enriching our relationships. In the realm of love, vulnerability plays a pivotal role. It is the bridge that connects us to others. When we allow ourselves to be vulnerable, we invite deeper connections and foster intimacy. Consider someone who takes the courageous step of sharing their fears and insecurities with their partner. This act of vulnerability can transform the relationship, creating a safe space for both partners to express themselves authentically. Yet, embracing vulnerability is not without its challenges. It requires courage and trust. How do we find the strength to be open? By recognizing that vulnerability is not a sign of weakness, but rather a testament to our strength and authenticity. It is through vulnerability that we can build deeper connections and experience love in its truest form. Effective communication is another cornerstone of healthy relationships. Open and honest dialogue creates an environment where both partners feel heard and understood. Techniques such as active listening and empathy can enhance communication, allowing couples to navigate conflicts more effectively. This leads to a more profound sense of connection and understanding. But what if communication breaks down? Rebuilding trust after a breakdown requires patience and effort. It involves acknowledging past hurts, taking responsibility, and committing to change. Couples can work together to establish healthier communication patterns, fostering a stronger bond in the process. Ultimately, as we explore the nature of love, we arrive at the profound realization that self-love is the foundation for all other forms of love. When we learn to love ourselves, we cultivate a sense of worthiness that allows us to connect with others authentically. Reflecting on Sarah's journey, we see a transformation from insecurity and fear to self-acceptance and fulfillment. By learning to love herself first, she opens the door to healthier relationships with others. As we conclude this exploration of love, consider the steps you can take today to foster love within yourself. Whether it's through self-reflection, open communication, or embracing vulnerability, each step brings you closer to a deeper understanding of love. Remember, love is an ongoing journey, and with Jung's insights, we can navigate its complexities with greater awareness and compassion. The concept of the shadow self is a profound and often misunderstood aspect of our psyche, one that Carl Jung meticulously explored. It represents those parts of ourselves that we hide away, either because they are deemed socially unacceptable or because we find them too painful to confront. The shadow is not inherently evil. It encompasses traits, desires, and emotions that we may feel ashamed of, or that conflict with our self-image. Understanding our shadow can lead to significant personal growth, especially in our relationships. Imagine a person named Alex. On the surface, Alex is cheerful, friendly, and always eager to please. However, deep down, Alex harbors feelings of insecurity and anger that manifest in subtle ways. When a friend achieves something significant, instead of celebrating, Alex feels a twinge of jealousy and quickly dismisses the accomplishment as unimportant. This jealousy, a shadow aspect, not only affects Alex's relationship with that friend, but also stirs feelings of guilt and shame within, prompting further avoidance of these feelings. As we delve into the shadow self, the question arises, how does this shadow manifest in love? In relationships, the shadow often emerges during conflicts or moments of vulnerability. For instance, when Alex's partner expresses frustration or disappointment, Alex may react defensively, projecting past experiences of rejection onto the current situation. This reaction stems from the shadow, those unresolved feelings of inadequacy and fear of abandonment. Understanding the shadow self can be likened to shining a light into a dark room. Initially, the darkness can be frightening, filled with an array of emotions and memories we'd rather forget. Yet, once we acknowledge and confront these hidden aspects, we can begin to integrate them into our conscious self. This integration is crucial for developing authentic relationships. When we deny our shadow, we risk projecting its traits onto others, leading to misunderstandings and conflicts. To illustrate this, consider the journey of Mira, who had long struggled with feelings of unworthiness stemming from a difficult childhood. In her romantic relationships, she often found herself feeling undeserving of love. This belief led her to sabotage potential connections, pushing away partners before they could reject her. However, through therapy and self-reflection, Mira began to confront her shadow. She learned to recognize when her feelings of inadequacy arose and how they influenced her behavior. As she embraced her imperfections, Mira found the courage to be vulnerable with her partner, sharing her fears and insecurities instead of hiding them. This openness transformed her relationship, fostering deeper trust and intimacy. But how can we start addressing our own shadow? One effective practice is journaling. Writing down thoughts and feelings can help bring hidden emotions to the surface. When you notice a strong emotional reaction, perhaps anger or sadness, take a moment to reflect on it. Ask yourself, what part of my shadow is being triggered in this situation? This exercise can promote self-awareness and provide insights into recurring patterns in your relationships. Another powerful tool is mindfulness. By being present in the moment and observing your thoughts without judgment, you can create space to recognize when your shadow is influencing your reactions. For example, during a disagreement with a partner, instead of immediately reacting defensively, take a deep breath and acknowledge your feelings. Ask yourself if these feelings are truly about the current situation, or if they stem from past experiences. This pause can prevent the cycle of projection and allow for more constructive communication. As we explore the shadow self, it's essential to remember that acknowledging these hidden aspects is a journey. It requires patience and compassion towards ourselves. The more we can accept our shadow, the less it controls our actions and relationships. Instead of viewing our flaws as weaknesses, we can see them as opportunities for growth and connection. Now let's consider the impact of the shadow on the dynamics of love. When individuals are unaware of their shadow, they often engage in projection. This occurs when we attribute our own insecurities, fears, and desires onto our partner. For example, if Alex feels unworthy, they may perceive their partner's actions as dismissive or critical, even if that was never the intention. This projection creates a cycle of misunderstanding, leading to conflicts that can erode the foundation of the relationship. The journey of integrating the shadow not only enhances our self-awareness, but also enriches our relationships. When we take ownership of our emotional responses and communicate openly, we invite our partners into our inner world, fostering empathy and connection. This process is akin to peeling back the layers of an onion. As we uncover deeper parts of ourselves, we allow our partners to see us more fully. As we move towards embracing our shadow, it's essential to recognize the transformative power of vulnerability. By acknowledging our hidden feelings and sharing them with our loved ones, we create a safe space for authentic connection. Mira's story exemplifies this beautifully. By confronting her shadow, she not only healed herself but also strengthened her relationship. In conclusion, the shadow self is an integral part of our human experience. It holds the key to understanding our emotional responses and enhancing our relationships. By taking the time to explore and integrate our shadow, we can break free from cycles of projection, fostering deeper connections with those we love. Remember, the journey of self-discovery is ongoing. As we shine a light on our shadow, we pave the way for greater love, acceptance, and understanding in our lives. How will you begin to explore your shadow today? Engaging with this aspect of yourself may hold the key to unlocking a more profound, fulfilling experience of love. In relationships, the concept of projection can significantly influence how we perceive and interact with our partners. This psychological phenomenon occurs when we attribute our own feelings, insecurities, or beliefs onto someone else, often leading to misunderstandings and conflict. For example, imagine a couple, Alex and Jamie. Alex has long struggled with feelings of inadequacy and low self-esteem. Because of these inner struggles, Alex begins to perceive Jamie's innocent comments as criticisms. When Jamie says, "I think we should save money for a vacation," Alex hears, "You're not good with money, and I'm tired of it." This misinterpretation stems from Alex projecting their insecurities onto Jamie, creating unnecessary tension in their relationship. Understanding projection is crucial because it reveals how our internal world shapes our external experiences. In Alex's case, rather than addressing their feelings of inadequacy, they unintentionally place those feelings onto Jamie, leading to conflict. This cycle can create a rift in relationships, where one partner feels attacked and the other feels misunderstood. If we don't recognize this pattern, we risk perpetuating a cycle of blame and resentment. So how can we stop this cycle of projection? The first step is awareness. By acknowledging that our reactions may stem from our feelings, we can begin to differentiate between genuine feedback and our projections. This self-reflection is vital in fostering healthier communication. After recognizing their behavior, Alex could approach Jamie with openness, saying, "I realize I've been feeling insecure about our finances, and I projected that onto you. I'm sorry for misunderstanding your intentions." This admission not only clarifies the misunderstanding, but also opens the door for a constructive conversation about their finances and emotional needs. Furthermore, developing emotional intelligence plays a significant role in breaking free from projection. This includes recognizing one's own feelings, understanding their origins, and expressing them appropriately. In Alex's case, developing emotional intelligence would involve exploring the root causes of their insecurities and finding healthier ways to communicate those feelings to Jamie. They could practice identifying their emotions, perhaps through journaling or therapy, and learn to articulate them clearly, which could transform their relationship. To illustrate the power of breaking the projection cycle, consider the story of Mia and Sam. They were a couple who often found themselves arguing over trivial matters. After attending a relationship workshop, they learned about projection. Sam realized he often projected his fears of abandonment onto Mia, interpreting her need for personal space as a sign that she was pulling away. Instead of addressing his feelings, he would react defensively, leading to further conflict. However, after acknowledging this pattern, Sam began to communicate his feelings of fear rather than acting out. He would say, "When you want time alone, I sometimes feel like you don't want to be with me. Can we talk about that?" This open dialogue transformed their relationship, creating a deeper understanding and emotional connection. The journey towards overcoming projection begins with a commitment to self-awareness and vulnerability. It requires courage to confront our insecurities and communicate them honestly. Emotional vulnerability can feel daunting, but it is through this vulnerability that we can foster genuine connections. When we allow ourselves to be seen, flaws and all, we invite our partners to do the same. This mutual openness can create a safe space where both partners feel valued and understood. However, what happens when we ignore these aspects of ourselves? If Alex had continued to project their insecurities onto Jamie without addressing them, the relationship could have deteriorated, potentially leading to resentment, anger, or even separation. The consequences of unchecked projection can be severe, impacting not only the relationship, but also one's overall emotional well-being. To navigate the complexities of projection, consider the following practical strategies. First, practice active listening. When your partner expresses a concern or feeling, take a moment to listen fully without preparing your response. This helps to create a more empathetic dialogue. Second, engage in regular check-ins with your partner about your feelings and needs. This practice fosters an environment of openness and can prevent misunderstandings from escalating into conflict. Additionally, consider seeking professional support. Therapy can provide a safe space to explore deep-seated fears and insecurities, offering tools for better communication and emotional management. Working with a therapist can also help partners understand how their individual histories influence their relationship dynamics, allowing them to break free from harmful patterns. Ultimately, overcoming projection is about transforming our relationships from places of conflict into spaces of growth and connection. By recognizing our projections and addressing our insecurities, we allow for a richer, more fulfilling partnership. When we prioritize understanding ourselves, we create a foundation for empathy and support in our relationships. As we reflect on the journey of Alex, Mia, and Sam, it's evident that acknowledging and addressing our projections is not just about improving our relationships, it's about fostering personal growth. When we take responsibility for our emotions and communicate openly, we pave the way for deeper connections and healthier relationships. So remember, the next time you feel a defensive reaction rising within you, pause and ask yourself, what insecurities am I projecting onto my partner? This simple question can be the key to unlocking a more profound understanding of both yourself and your relationship. In the intricate tapestry of love, understanding our emotional needs is akin to discovering the threads that hold everything together. When we recognize and articulate what we truly need in relationships, we equip ourselves to foster deeper connections and healthier interactions with others. This journey toward understanding our needs isn't just beneficial, it's essential for building lasting bonds. However, navigating this path can often feel daunting, especially when our needs clash with those of our partners. Imagine Sarah, a dedicated professional who pours her heart into her work. She is ambitious and thrives on achieving her goals. But when it comes to her relationship with Mark, her partner, things become complicated. Mark is more laid back and values quality time together above all else. Initially, Sarah assumes that Mark understands her need for personal space and time to focus on her career. As weeks pass, frustration builds. Sarah feels neglected and misunderstood, while Mark feels unappreciated and lonely. The communication breakdown escalates, leading to arguments that leave both feeling hurt and disconnected. This scenario highlights a common issue in relationships: the misalignment of emotional needs. Many people, like Sarah and Mark, may not fully grasp their own needs or how to communicate them effectively. The first step in addressing this is to take a moment for introspection. Understanding our emotional landscape requires us to reflect on what we truly value in relationships. Is it quality time, acts of service, physical affection, or perhaps words of affirmation? By identifying our core emotional needs, we create a foundation for open dialogue with our partners. So, how can we communicate these needs effectively? One powerful technique is to use I statements. Instead of saying, "You never spend time with me," try saying, "I feel lonely when we don't spend time together." This approach minimizes defensiveness and opens the door to constructive conversation. It encourages partners to listen and understand, rather than react immediately. Now, let's delve deeper into the transformative power of recognizing and articulating our needs. When Sarah finally takes the time to reflect and uses I statements to express her feelings to Mark, a shift occurs. She explains how her work is important to her, but so is their relationship. Mark, in turn, opens up about his feelings of neglect. They both realize that they have been caught in a cycle of assumptions and miscommunication. This moment of vulnerability not only strengthens their bond, but also fosters a new level of understanding. However, what happens when our needs clash? This is where the real work begins. It's essential to cultivate a mindset of compromise and collaboration. For instance, Sarah and Mark might decide to set aside specific times during the week dedicated solely to each other, ensuring that both of their emotional needs are met. Sarah may agree to put away her work during these times, while Mark can also make an effort to understand her need for individual focus during other parts of the week. This leads us to the concept of emotional literacy, the ability to understand and express our feelings and needs clearly. When we develop emotional literacy, we become more attuned not only to our own needs, but also to those of our partners. This awareness can significantly enhance our relationships, paving the way for empathy and mutual support. To illustrate this further, consider the story of Tom and Lisa. Tom, a passionate artist, often felt misunderstood by Lisa, who was more pragmatic and focused on stability. Initially, Tom would withdraw when feeling overwhelmed, thinking that Lisa would never understand his creative process. But as Tom began to explore his emotional needs, he realized that he craved encouragement and validation from Lisa. Instead of withdrawing, he began to share his artistic struggles with her, expressing how her support could bolster his confidence. Lisa, in turn, learned to appreciate Tom's needs and offered her encouragement, which deepened their connection and understanding of one another. The journey toward understanding emotional needs can sometimes feel like walking a tightrope. It requires courage to be vulnerable and to express what we truly desire. This vulnerability can be intimidating, as we fear rejection or misunderstanding. Yet, embracing vulnerability often leads to the most profound transformations in relationships. When we allow ourselves to be seen and understood, we create the space for love to flourish. Now let's revisit the initial scenario with Sarah and Mark. After their breakthrough conversation, they began to implement regular check-ins about their emotional needs. They set aside Sunday evenings as a time to reflect on their week, discussing what worked, what didn't, and how they could better support one another. Over time, Sarah felt more secure in her relationship, while Mark experienced a newfound sense of appreciation for Sarah's dedication to her work. Their relationship evolved from a place of tension to one of mutual respect and understanding, highlighting the importance of addressing emotional needs proactively. As we reflect on this journey, it's vital to recognize that understanding and articulating our emotional needs is not a one-time task, but an ongoing process. Relationships require continuous effort and adjustment. It's essential to remain open to change and to revisit our needs regularly, ensuring they align with those of our partners. In conclusion, while the exploration of emotional needs may come with its challenges, the rewards are immeasurable. By fostering an environment of open communication and vulnerability, we create the groundwork for love to thrive. So, as you navigate your own relationships, take a moment to reflect. What do you truly need? How can you express these needs to your partner? The answers to these questions can transform not only your understanding of love, but also the quality of your relationships. Remember, the journey toward emotional awareness is a shared one, and with patience and compassion, we can all learn to love and be loved more fully. Carl Jung's exploration of the psyche reveals profound insights into the nature of relationships, particularly through the concepts of anima and animus. These are the inner feminine and masculine aspects that exist within each individual, regardless of gender. Understanding and embracing these parts of ourselves can lead to more fulfilling relationships and a greater sense of self. Imagine someone who has always felt a disconnect in their romantic relationships, often struggling with feelings of inadequacy or misunderstanding. This person, let's call her Sarah, seems to attract partners who don't truly understand her. She feels like she's constantly giving, but not receiving the love she craves. Sarah's story is not uncommon. Many individuals find themselves caught in a cycle of unfulfilling relationships, often due to an imbalance of their anima and animus. In Jungian psychology, the anima represents the feminine qualities present in men, qualities such as intuition, empathy, and nurturing. Conversely, the animus embodies the masculine qualities in women, which include assertiveness, rationality, and strength. When Sarah encounters challenges in her relationships, it often stems from her inability to integrate her anima, her emotional and intuitive side, into her daily life. She has learned to suppress these qualities, believing that they make her appear weak. But what happens when one consciously embraces the anima, or animus? Let's return to Sarah. One day she decides to take a step back and reflect on her relationships. She begins to journal her feelings and thoughts, allowing herself to explore her emotional world without judgment. As she writes, she realizes that her fear of vulnerability has kept her from expressing her true self to her partners. This moment of realization is pivotal. It's the beginning of her journey toward integrating her anima. As Sarah starts to embrace her intuitive side, she begins to communicate more openly with her partner. She shares her fears, desires, and dreams, allowing herself to be vulnerable. The transformation is astonishing. Her partner responds with empathy and understanding, creating a safe space for both of them to express their emotions. Sarah's relationships begin to flourish as she learns that embracing her anima doesn't make her weak, it makes her whole. This journey of self-discovery is not exclusive to Sarah. Many individuals can benefit from understanding their anima and animus. For instance, consider a man named Tom, who has always been praised for his assertiveness in the workplace. However, in his relationships, he often finds it challenging to connect deeply with his partner. Tom has neglected his anima, the part of him that craves emotional intimacy and connection. By exploring this aspect of himself, he learns to be more vulnerable, allowing his partner to see his fears and insecurities. As he integrates these qualities, he not only improves his romantic relationship, but also becomes a more compassionate friend and colleague. This exploration of the anima and animus raises an essential question. What happens when we ignore these aspects of ourselves? The consequences can be profound. When individuals suppress their anima or animus, they may experience emotional disconnection, frustration, and a lack of fulfillment in their relationships. This internal imbalance often leads to projection, where individuals project their unmet desires or insecurities onto their partners, further complicating their relationships. Imagine a couple, Alex and Jamie, who frequently argue over trivial matters. The root of their conflict lies in Alex's struggle to embrace his anima. He has always been taught to be strong and self-reliant, leading him to dismiss his emotional needs. As a result, when Jamie expresses her feelings, Alex feels threatened and responds defensively. This cycle of misunderstanding continues until they seek counseling. Through therapy, they learn about the importance of acknowledging their anima and animus, allowing them to communicate more effectively and empathetically. Incorporating Jung's insights into everyday life involves practical steps. First, individuals can begin by identifying qualities they admire in others that resonate with their anima or animus. For instance, if a woman admires the confidence and assertiveness of a male colleague, she can explore how those qualities exist within her. Reflecting on moments when they felt empowered or in touch with their anima or animus can also foster greater self-awareness. Journaling can be a powerful tool in this exploration. Writing about experiences, feelings, and desires allows individuals to tap into their unconscious mind, revealing deeper insights about themselves. Additionally, engaging in creative activities, such as painting, dancing, or writing poetry, can help individuals connect with their anima or animus, as these activities often encourage self-expression and emotional exploration. As individuals embark on this journey of self-discovery, they may find that their relationships begin to change. Instead of projecting insecurities onto their partners, they develop a greater understanding of their emotional needs and the needs of others. The transformative power of integrating the anima and animus not only enhances romantic relationships, but also enriches friendships and family dynamics. The journey toward embracing these aspects of oneself can be daunting. Vulnerability often feels uncomfortable, and fear of rejection can loom large. However, the rewards are immeasurable. By fostering a deeper connection with the anima and animus, individuals can create more authentic and fulfilling relationships. It is essential to remember that this journey is ongoing. Self-discovery and growth take time and patience. As we conclude this exploration of the anima and animus, let us reflect on the broader implications of Jung's work. Understanding these concepts empowers individuals to break free from limiting patterns and embrace their true selves. By doing so, they not only enhance their relationships, but also pave the way for a more authentic and fulfilling life. The path of self-discovery may be challenging, but it is a journey worth taking. Embrace your anima and animus, and watch as your relationships transform in beautiful and unexpected ways. Vulnerability is a powerful, transformative aspect of human relationships, yet it often feels like a tightrope walk between fear and connection. It's the willingness to open ourselves up, to expose our true selves, and to share our deepest thoughts and feelings with others. When we embrace vulnerability, we allow for deeper connections to form, creating a safe space where love can flourish. Many people, however, struggle with the idea of being vulnerable. They fear judgment, rejection, or simply being misunderstood. This fear can be so overwhelming that it leads to emotional walls being built, isolating us from the very connections we desire. Imagine a young woman named Sarah. She had always been the strong one in her friendship group, the go-to person for advice and support. On the outside, she appeared confident and composed, but inside she felt a constant battle between her desire for connection and her fear of being seen as weak. She worried that if she shared her true feelings, her friends would view her differently, or worse, abandon her. So, Sarah kept her struggles to herself, masking her emotions with a smile and a brave face. As a result, her relationships began to feel shallow and unfulfilling. But everything changed one evening when she attended a small gathering with her friends. As the conversation deepened, one of her friends opened up about a personal struggle, sharing feelings of inadequacy and fear of failure. This moment struck a chord with Sarah. Recognizing that her friend's vulnerability had drawn everyone closer, she felt a spark of courage. She decided to take a leap of faith and share her own fears and insecurities. The room fell silent as she spoke, her voice trembling at first, but then gaining strength. To her surprise, her friends responded with empathy and support, sharing their own stories of vulnerability in return. This moment of openness transformed not only Sarah's relationships, but also her understanding of vulnerability. She realized that it wasn't a sign of weakness, but rather a source of strength. By allowing herself to be vulnerable, she fostered a deeper connection with her friends, creating a bond built on trust and authenticity. Vulnerability became a bridge that connected her heart to theirs, leading to more meaningful interactions and a supportive network. Navigating vulnerability can be daunting, but there are practical steps to cultivate this skill. First, it's essential to recognize and embrace your feelings. Acknowledge that feeling vulnerable is a normal part of being human. Everyone experiences fear and uncertainty at times. Journaling can be a helpful tool for processing these emotions. Writing down your thoughts allows you to explore them without judgment, creating a safe space for self-reflection. Next, practice sharing small pieces of your thoughts and feelings with trusted individuals. Start with something manageable, like a minor concern or a personal anecdote. This gradual approach helps build your confidence and comfort level. Over time, as you see the positive responses from others, you'll feel more empowered to share deeper aspects of yourself. It's also crucial to create an environment that encourages vulnerability. Surround yourself with people who value honesty and openness. When you feel safe in your relationships, it becomes easier to express yourself authentically. This mutual respect fosters an atmosphere where vulnerability is not only accepted, but celebrated. Despite the fear that often accompanies vulnerability, the rewards are immense. Studies have shown that vulnerability leads to increased emotional intimacy, trust, and satisfaction in relationships. When we allow ourselves to be vulnerable, we invite others to do the same, creating a cycle of openness that enhances the quality of our connections. But what happens when vulnerability feels too overwhelming? It's important to recognize that vulnerability is a journey, not a destination. It takes time and practice to develop this skill. Remember that it's okay to take small steps and to seek support from others when needed. Therapy or support groups can provide a safe space to explore your feelings and learn how to express them constructively. Consider the story of John, who struggled with expressing his emotions throughout his marriage. He found it challenging to share his fears and insecurities with his wife, fearing it would create distance between them. One day, after attending a workshop on emotional intelligence, he decided to try a different approach. He sat down with his wife and, for the first time, openly shared his fears about their future and his insecurities about being a good husband and father. Initially, it felt uncomfortable, and he worried about how she might react. However, to his surprise, his wife responded with love and understanding. She too had her own fears and insecurities, and together they began to navigate their vulnerabilities. This openness led to a deeper emotional bond and a more resilient partnership. As you explore the concept of vulnerability, remember that it's not about exposing every part of yourself to everyone. It's about discerning who to trust and when to share your true self. Vulnerability is a choice, and it's okay to protect your heart until you feel safe enough to let someone in. Ultimately, embracing vulnerability is key to building meaningful relationships and fostering self-love. It allows us to connect with others on a profound level, breaking down walls and building bridges of understanding. As you reflect on your own experiences, consider how vulnerability has played a role in your life. What steps can you take to cultivate this powerful practice? In conclusion, vulnerability is a transformative force that can lead to deeper connections and a more fulfilling life. By embracing your fears and sharing your true self with others, you open the door to love, intimacy, and understanding. The journey may be challenging, but the rewards of authentic connection are worth the effort. So take that leap, share your story, and watch as the magic of vulnerability unfolds in your life. Communication plays a crucial role in the success of any relationship. It goes beyond mere words. It encompasses understanding, connection, and emotional resonance. When we think about communication, we often envision conversations filled with laughter or passionate debates. However, the reality is that many relationships suffer from miscommunication, leading to misunderstandings and emotional distance. To navigate this complex landscape, we must first understand the fundamental principles of effective communication. Imagine a couple, Sarah and Tom, who have been together for several years. On the surface, they appear happy, but beneath the surface lies a growing tension. Sarah often feels unheard, while Tom believes he's expressing his thoughts clearly. This disconnect leads to frustration and resentment. The question is, how can they bridge this gap? By focusing on open and honest communication, they can transform their relationship. Active listening is a fundamental technique that can help partners feel valued and understood. When we actively listen, we engage with the speaker wholeheartedly, demonstrating that their words matter. This means setting aside distractions, making eye contact, and responding appropriately. For instance, when Sarah shares her feelings about feeling neglected, instead of rushing to defend himself, Tom can say, "I hear you. It sounds like you feel unappreciated. Let's talk about how I can support you better." This validation fosters a sense of safety and openness. But what happens when communication breaks down? This is where the importance of empathy comes into play. Empathy allows us to step into our partner's shoes and understand their perspective. For Sarah and Tom, practicing empathy can be transformative. When Tom empathizes with Sarah's feelings, he starts to see the root of her frustrations. It's not just about feeling neglected, it's also about feeling disconnected.
By acknowledging her feelings and validating them, Tom can create a space where Sarah feels comfortable expressing her needs. Now, let's explore a story that illustrates the power of communication in relationships. Meet Laura and Mike, a couple who faced significant challenges in their marriage. They often found themselves in heated arguments, leaving them feeling more isolated than connected. One day, during a particularly intense disagreement, Laura decided to try something different.
Instead of raising her voice, she took a deep breath and said, "I feel overwhelmed when we argue like this. Can we take a step back and talk about what's really bothering us?" This simple shift in approach opened the door to a calmer conversation. Laura's vulnerability in expressing her feelings sparked a change in Mike. He realized that their arguments were often fueled by their unresolved issues, not by their love for each other. This moment of clarity led to a series of honest discussions, where both partners shared their fears and insecurities. They began to practice active listening and empathy, leading to a deeper understanding of each other's perspectives. Over time, their relationship transformed from one of conflict to one of collaboration and support. While these examples highlight the importance of communication, many people still wonder about the practical steps they can take to improve their conversations. One effective strategy is to establish a regular check-in time where both partners can share their feelings and discuss any issues that may have arisen. This dedicated time promotes transparency and prevents small grievances from escalating into major conflicts. During these check-ins, partners can employ techniques like I statements, which focus on expressing personal feelings rather than blaming the other. For example, saying, "I feel neglected when we don't spend time together," is more constructive than "you never make time for me." Yet, even with the best intentions, misunderstandings can still occur. This is where the importance of clarity comes into play. When conveying thoughts or feelings, it's essential to be as clear and specific as possible. Ambiguity can lead to confusion, and assumptions can create unnecessary conflict. For instance, if Tom tells Sarah, "I'm busy," without context, she might feel dismissed. Instead, he could say, "I have a lot on my plate at work right now, but I want to make time for us. Can we plan a date night for this weekend?" This approach provides clarity and reassurance, fostering connection instead of distance. As we navigate communication challenges, it's vital to remember that rebuilding trust is an ongoing process. If trust has been compromised, it requires patience and consistency to restore. Couples should approach conversations with a willingness to learn and grow together. This means being open to feedback, even when it's difficult to hear. When Sarah expressed her feelings about feeling neglected, Tom initially felt defensive. However, by choosing to listen and understand, he was able to reflect on his behavior and make changes that positively impacted their relationship. The journey towards effective communication is not always easy, but it is incredibly rewarding. It requires vulnerability, patience, and a commitment to understanding one another. When couples invest in their communication skills, they create a solid foundation for their relationship. This foundation allows them to navigate challenges together, deepening their emotional bond and fostering a sense of partnership. In closing, the significance of open and honest communication cannot be overstated. It is the lifeblood of any relationship, fostering understanding, connection, and growth. By practicing active listening, empathy, and clarity, partners can transform their interactions and build stronger, healthier relationships. So, as you reflect on your own experiences, consider what steps you can take today to enhance your communication. Whether it's initiating a heartfelt conversation, practicing active listening, or simply being more present with your partner, every effort counts. The journey towards better communication is ongoing, but with each step, you move closer to a more fulfilling connection with your loved ones. Self-love is often regarded as the cornerstone of all other forms of love, serving as a foundation upon which healthy relationships are built. When we truly embrace self-love, we cultivate a sense of worthiness that allows us to connect with others in deeper, more meaningful ways. This journey towards self-love can be challenging, filled with self-doubt and societal pressures, but it is also one of the most rewarding paths we can embark upon. Imagine a young woman named Sarah. For years, she struggled with feelings of inadequacy, believing that she had to earn love and acceptance from those around her. She constantly sought validation from her friends and partners, often compromising her own needs to maintain relationships. But deep down, Sarah felt unfulfilled and disconnected. She longed for a love that felt authentic and true, yet she didn't realize that this love needed to start within herself. One day, Sarah stumbled upon a book that emphasized the importance of self-love. The author shared a simple yet profound exercise, writing a letter to oneself, expressing compassion and understanding for past mistakes and insecurities. Intrigued, Sarah decided to give it a try. As she poured her heart onto the page, she began to confront her inner critic. She acknowledged her fears, her flaws, and her dreams, embracing them all as part of her unique journey. This act of self-reflection sparked a transformation in her life. But what exactly does self-love entail? It's more than just positive affirmations or treating oneself to nice things. Self-love is about recognizing and valuing your own worth. It means setting healthy boundaries, learning to say no, and prioritizing your own needs without guilt. It involves forgiving yourself for past mistakes and accepting that imperfection is part of being human. As Sarah continued her journey, she began to notice changes in her relationships. She felt more confident in expressing her needs and desires. No longer did she seek validation from others to feel complete. Instead, she approached her friendships and romantic relationships with an open heart, ready to share her authentic self. This shift allowed her to attract people who appreciated her for who she truly was, rather than who she thought she needed to be. Imagine the impact of this transformation. Sarah's friends began to notice her newfound confidence and positivity. They were drawn to her energy, and soon, her relationships deepened as she cultivated connections based on mutual respect and understanding. The love she had always sought externally was now blossoming from within, radiating outwards and enriching her interactions. Yet the path to self-love is not always easy. It requires vulnerability and courage to confront the parts of ourselves we often hide. Many people wonder, how can I build the courage to be open and vulnerable? The answer lies in small, consistent steps. Start by practicing self-compassion. Whenever you find yourself caught in self-criticism, pause and ask, would I speak to a friend this way? Often, we are our own harshest critics. By treating ourselves with the same kindness we would offer to others, we can begin to shift our mindset. Additionally, it's crucial to surround ourselves with supportive influences. Seek out relationships that uplift you and inspire growth. Engage with communities that prioritize self-love and personal development. Share your experiences and listen to others. This exchange fosters a sense of belonging and reinforces the idea that you are not alone in your struggles. As Sarah navigated her journey, she encountered moments of doubt and fear. What if she faced rejection when she expressed her true self? What if her needs clashed with those of her partner? These questions are common, but they should not deter us. Instead, they offer valuable opportunities for growth and understanding. When we communicate openly about our feelings and needs, we pave the way for deeper connections built on trust and authenticity. Self-love also means recognizing that it's okay to seek help. Whether it's through therapy, coaching, or support groups, reaching out for guidance can provide invaluable insights and tools to aid in your journey. Sarah eventually sought the help of a therapist who helped her navigate her emotions and provided practical strategies for building self-esteem. This support was instrumental in her transformation, reminding her that seeking help is a sign of strength, not weakness. Now, let's return to Sarah's story. As she continued to embrace self-love, she found herself in a new relationship. This time, she was clear about her needs and boundaries from the start. When conflicts arose, she approached them with empathy and understanding, fostering a dynamic of healthy communication. The relationship flourished, not because it was devoid of challenges, but because both partners were committed to growth and connection. The journey of self-love is ongoing and ever-evolving. It's essential to remember that setbacks are a natural part of any personal growth process. Embrace them as learning experiences rather than failures. Each challenge presents an opportunity to deepen your understanding of yourself and strengthen your resolve. As you reflect on your own journey, consider what steps you can take today to foster self-love. Perhaps it's writing that letter to yourself, practicing daily affirmations, or simply taking a moment to appreciate your unique qualities. Remember that self-love is not a destination, but a continuous journey that enriches every aspect of your life. In closing, self-love empowers you to cultivate healthier relationships with others. As you learn to love and accept yourself, you create space for genuine connections and emotional intimacy. Sarah's story illustrates that when we prioritize self-love, we unlock the potential for deeper, more fulfilling relationships. It's a transformative journey that begins within, but its effects ripple outward, enriching the lives of those around us. Embrace this journey and watch how your world transforms in beautiful ways.